Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and that channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Pen review, folks, pen review. It's pen review time. Now I remember a viewer of mine in 2025 when he was, I guess, taking a look at my year-end reviews or my year-end awards, mentioned you should have more German pens for next year. So, I took that at heart and I said, that's an excellent suggestion. You can't go wrong with German pens. Or so they say. So far, they're correct. So we're early We're February, mid-February. I'm hoping that this, I don't know when this will be published, but when I'm taping this, it's mid-February. And I've already bought 3 German pens. I've bought the Pelikan M800, the Faber-Castell Classic Pernambuco, and this pen is going to be added to my collection. It's supposed to be a nice product based on the other pens from the same brand that I have in my collection. I think I should be expecting something very, very nice. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the Diplomat Nexus. Okay, so we're back with the box. Big box, I can tell you. There's lots of goodies in here. I've opened it up already, so let's open it up. First time I saw this pen, I was at a Pelikan hub, my first, here in Montreal, and one of the attendees, also a viewer of this channel, had the Diplomat Nexus, and I tried it then, and I said to myself, that's a pen I'm going to put on my bucket list. What impressed me about it immediately was the size of the pen, and I can tell you it doesn't disappoint. It's just okay. It's got this metal sleeve that you just push out. I think I put it back in the wrong way, and now I'm having difficulties pulling it out again. Okay, there we go. So what do we got in here? The usual, there's a brochure that talks about that filling system, and we'll get to that in a while. I think in just a few minutes. I think the instructions are very, very good, as a matter of fact. We'll put that back in its sleeve. And we've got some cards. We've got some guarantees. There we go. What's in here? Oh, yes. I'll show you what that is, and the pen is in very tucked away, very securely in there. So nice box. I think there's a couple of pipettes there as well to ink the pen. So you've got 2 of them like this, which always is a nice touch. We'll put that aside. What this is very, very, very useful, because you'll see that we're going to be using that to fill the pen, but we'll put that aside for now. Let's take a look at the pen. Here's the pen. For immediate reaction, it's a metal pen. I understand it's aluminum, anodized. I've got a feeling that some of these trimmings are very heavy. That's the sense I get, but very nice. You can see that there is the Diplomat. Oh, let's put it up. It's a little dirty there. Okay. Yeah, that kind of flower shape is it's actually scratched. It's not dirty. Or maybe just glue. No, it's getting removed. I think I just have to clean it up. The Diplomat logo is there. On the other side, you have Diplomat Germany with the logo as well. Nice finials, silver trimming. Now, I thought this pen only came in, well, we'll deal with the nib in a second. Let's deal with one thing at a time. You can see an ink window right there. The clip is nice design, very springy, just a simple middle band, chrome band. There's nothing inscribed on it. There's kind of a little bit of a, I guess, a drop there, design, just to add a little touch. It's black. It comes, I believe I've seen it in nice blue as well. I would have preferred the blue, frankly, but I bought it at a local pen store, and all they had was black. And it was on special. They had a discount, so I bought it. Otherwise, obviously, we could have purchased a blue one on the internet, but given the price, I went with it. There you have it. It's very smooth, got some good heft. It's a good size pen. I would say it's a large pen, and we'll do some comparisons in just a few minutes. Let's see how many turns to... Is it a screw-on cap? Yes, it is. Oh, here we go. Oh, what is it? Like 1 1/4 about? And that screw mechanism is special, so we'll get to it in a second. To reveal this Diplomat branded Yowo nib, it's a medium. Now, Diplomat nibs are known to be extra special, even though they're Yowo. Everybody presumes, and when you use them, it kind of confirms that they must do something to their nibs. I don't know exactly what they do to them, but they're always really, really perform really well. So I don't feel bad that it's another Yowo nib, because I know it's a Diplomat Yowo nib. And I'm sure it's going to give me that extra wow. At least I'm hoping. There's your ink window on both sides. The grip has got this grooved grip that is meant to avoid the slippage that comes with a chromy metal section. The screw mechanism here, or the threading mechanism, because it's not thin threads, is very, very machined just perfectly. All of the integration of all the trimmings is excellent. You don't feel any jagged edges or anything sticking out or that shouldn't be there. And yeah, now what's special about this pen is that, first of all, it's an eyedropper. And the way you're meant to eyedrop is the following. You use this little tool. You unscrew, okay, and you put this part here, and you can put the other part here, okay, just to let it rest. And you fill it with ink that way, okay? What is special about it is that once you screw that back, first of all, it's got, you can see it's got a, right there, okay, that's red. It's kind of a sealing ring there, plastic, nice and hard, nice and tough, not, doesn't move. Apparently what happens, now usually what happens with eyedroppers is they have a tendency to burp on you when you travel. If it's, there could be a little, because of the change of temperature, it could go up and burp. But what this has, apparently, and I'm not a technician, but Brian Goulet, I think, has a video that explains it. When you screw that in, and let me read what he says on his website so I don't get it wrong. He says, eyedropper pens are known for being prone to burping or leaking, especially when you have changes in temperature or pressure. But the Nexus innovation allows ink to stay in place when traveling, especially at different altitudes. The self-sealing eyedropper mechanism closes up the ink reservoir when you cap the pen, thanks to a fixed rod with a seal that stays in place. The internal sleeve of the pen shifts back when you cap it, allowing the seal to engage the grip, locking off the ink chamber when sealed. It may seem complicated, but it's actually easier than it sounds. I can tell you it sounds very complicated to me. You know me, I'm not a technical guy. But all to say is that when you screw that cap back on, it fights the normal or the otherwise standard negative aspects of eyedroppers, which is the burping, etc. So that is the outside, and of course that beautiful nib that I'm really looking forward to inking. You can actually see the rod right here. Now, big decision is what ink I'm going to put in here, and that's one of the reasons why I bought all these Diplomat inks. I can put sepia black, I can put green, we can put burgundy. By the way, it came with black. Black came with in the box. I've also got a Caribbean, which is a kind of a turquoise. Normally I would, if you want to match, you go with black, but I just find black. You know what? Let's put black. I never use black. It's a black pen. We shall use black. Okay. Now, I don't want to do the eyedropping online because I know I'll make a mess. But it's fairly simple. I showed you what has to be done, so I don't see how I can get this wrong. But there you go. I put it there. I'm going to use probably a syringe rather than this thing. The syringe will allow me to get in there a little bit better. So I've got syringes. We're going to fill that up and we'll be right back. One of the things you have to keep in mind is that when you're filling the pen and you've completed your fill, given that it's your first fill, if you put the cap back on, of course it seals that upper chamber. So you'll never get the ink to go down, even if you put your pen this way, because it's sealed by definition. So you got to give it a little bit of time. By the way, the mechanism is right here. You can feel that there's kind of a pressure, and it pushes a rod to seal it off. Then, of course, there's the O-ring that we just saw. Very ingenious. By the way, it takes 3.75 milliliters of ink. That's a lot of ink. So it's got great ink capacity, if you will. And I did want to fill it up just to let you know how things work. It was actually very smooth. Didn't get my fingers dirty in any way, shape, or form. It's actually so much easier. And this little tool, I think, is perfect. Okay, so that's I just wanted to take a look at what's in there. Yeah, there's a sleeve in there, and there's also a step. So I suspect the sealing, this pen will seal very nicely, but we will test it over time, as we usually do, and revisit. Now, I'm going to do what I said we shouldn't do, just because I got to do a pen comparison in the next couple of minutes. So here are the pens that I'd like to compare it with. We've got a couple of Diplomats in there. I've got a Majon, and an Aurora. Let me just give me a second. We will identify all these pens properly. Okay, there we go. I think we're all set here. Actually, why don't we bring it up just a little bit. Here we go. That's the Majon Twilight Blue P136. Beautiful pen. It's become one of my favorites. This is the Talentum Aurora. It reminds me a little bit of the Talentum, just in terms of its girth. I've got two Diplomat arrows, one in this blue and the other one in this kind of copper orange. Really nice. And then I have the Viper, the Diplomat Viper. So you can see the pen is a good size. This Twilight is meant to, kind of clone the Montblanc 146. So you can see how big that is. And it's pretty big. And I would say that this is much girthier than that one. The Talentum is a fairly big pen. And your Nexus is much bigger. And of course, it's huge when you compare it to the Viper. So there you have the pens capped. Okay, so here are the pens uncapped and unposted, and you can see that the Nexus is huge. Okay, it's the biggest one of the lot, much bigger than all of the rest. And I'm not going to do a posted comparison because this pen does not post. You could see that there's no posting of this pen. And it would be ridiculous to post because one, it'd be too big. Look how big it is as is. And two, with this metal cap, it would completely destroy the balance of the pen. So the pen does not post. What I noticed is I think we could use this little tool. Let me just shift that to, so if you have this on your desk, you're all set because you can leave your cap in this little, tray, you call it. There you have it. That's the Nexus. Beautiful pen. Beautiful pen. We're going to clean all this up, bring out some paper, make sure the ink goes down into the feed, and we'll do some writing. Be right back. Okay, so we're back. In terms of the paper, it's Tomoe River paper. The notebook is Wonderland 222. So what I've been able to figure out that this is Tomoe River paper that came out of machine number 9, not the original machine number 7. Just a clarification that we've straightened that out recently. It's still a very nice notebook, and so far it's taking the lead in terms of my challenge to find an alternative to the original Tomoe River paper. Okay, so we've inked it with Diplomat Black, and let's go ahead with the sample. Okay, so this is, wow, Diplomat Nexus. And in black. The slippery section takes a little bit getting used to, but the more you write, the more it quickly becomes second nature. The nib is a Yowo steel number 6, and the pen does come apparently in with gold nibs, with Yowo gold nibs, if you can find them. Yowo steel number 6, and this is a medium. The ink is Diplomat Black. I don't regret putting the black. This is a very sharp, dark, black ink paper. Wonderland. .222 Tomoe River paper, and I'm going to put number 9, just for my own purposes. There you go. Okay? Now, smoothness. This is where I say that they must do something to these nibs. This is very, very, very smooth. Virtually no feedback. No FB to speak of. Wetness. Very, very, very wet. Bounce. No bounce. It's a yo-yo nib. Okay, so you could squeeze and get more ink, but it doesn't. There's really no line variation whatsoever. In terms of its flow, very, very constant. Yeah, not a problem. Don't see this pen skipping a beat. Not a beat. Reverse writing? Let's see. Yeah. Just a little scratchy, but you can get some out of it. Okay. I think we've covered all bases. Likes and dislikes. Likes, I like the design of the pen. I like the build quality is excellent. You can tell it's German made. The nib, they did something to it, which is just fabulous. And we'll take a look at some of the other Diplomat pens in just a minute. We'll do some comparisons, and let me tell you, I think that those nibs are just as good. Yeah, so there's something to it. Dislikes. I really, maybe just the metal section. Because it gets, you got to get used to it. Even though it's grooved, it's still a little bit slippery. And because it's so smooth and wet, it kind of just slips right out of your hand. It's a little bit difficult to control, if you know what I'm saying. And when that happens, I have a tendency to hold it up a little bit further up so I can really get a hold of it. But because it's so big, it doesn't matter, really. That's the only... is this a go-to pen? Absolutely. This is a real, professional, classic, elegant, around a boardroom table, signing a document. Excellent. I would give it 10 on 10. That slippery section may prove to be more difficult, but I think the more you write with it, the less you feel the slippery. So I'm going to go with go-to. What about value? I've seen the pen go anywhere between 400 and 450. It's a little expensive for what you get for a steel nibbed pen, but it's good quality. But I think it's slightly overpriced. Yeah, you see, you kind of lose control over it because it's so smooth. But there you have it. Beautiful pen. Beautiful pen, I must say. I'm very pleased. Now, what I'd like to do, and it's what I'm doing this year more and more with my reviews, is kind of use the left-hand side to compare how it writes with other pens. So, for example, this is the Diplomat. By the way, it is so satisfying. It's a magnet. Click. This one is a medium, and I've put in the royal blue from Diplomat. So this is the Aero Diplomat. Right away you notice a difference, and that's in the section. This too is slippery, but it's a lot thinner. Okay, in blue. Well, I don't know what they call this design, but it's my blue one, so I know. And it's a medium, and it's got Diplomat royal blue. Yeah, and this nib is just as juicy as the other one. There you go. Then we've got the other one, the copper orange. This one's got a broad nib. This one slips a little less just because of the type of metal here. So this is the Aero. Wow, this is really Diplomat. And I'm just gonna put orange. It's so smooth that it kind of sings a little bit. It's broad. And it's got Diplomat sepia. Yeah, very, very smooth. So smooth that it's about to sing, if you know what I mean. You can feel the squeak. Very nice. Yeah, they must do something to their nibs. That brings me to this little guy, which is the Viper. Diplomat. Now, I was, was playing around with it. This, I believe, is a fine. I'm not a great fan of these type of nibs. So, other than my Karen, I just never end up really using this pen, unfortunately. It's too bad. This has Diplomat, and the nib is a little scratchy. This is the Diplomat Caribbean. That's the ink. Yeah, maybe it's because it's fine, but it's certainly not as smooth as those the Yowo nibs that we've seen today. Now, if we're going to compare it to Yowo with Yowo, what I'd like to do is take out my Leonardos, because people say that the Leonardos must do something to their Yowo nibs. So stay tuned. I'm going to just get a couple of other pens that I think are Yowo nibs, but they must do something to them just because they're so smooth, and we'll kind of compare, and we'll see whether or not this is just a Yowo nib, or if indeed the rumor that they do something to these nibs is correct. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've chosen 3 other pens that I think, just out of my own experience, have probably some of the best Yowo nibs, and that I suspect they may do something to them. First of all, I have this Leonardo. This is a Leonardo Momento Magico. Bella Notte. And it is a Yowo number 6 steel. It has, is it a medium or a broad? It's a broad. And just a real joy to write with. This one has kind of a pencil feel to it, whereas the broad of Diplomat is more smoother, like as if you're writing on really glass, but just as smooth, I gotta tell you. The other one is Edison, Edison or Edson? I keep mixing up. I think it's Edison. This is the Edison. I think they call it cracked ice, but I'm not sure. It's got a Yowo number 6, 1.1 stub. And their stubs are just fabulous. So, again, very smooth. And this is a stub, so it's a wider, there's a wider tip. So, you know, if it's properly tuned, it'll be very smooth. But again, I've got to tell you, so far, those Diplomats are even smoother. Last but not least, I found that this is Penlux. I forget what they call this, masterpiece or something like that. But anyway, it's a Penlux Taiwanese pen company, and I also find their nibs. Yeah, this is akin to Diplomat. Penlux. This is a Yowo. Can you hear? Nothing. Steel, and it's a 1 point. Is it a 1.1 or a broad? Yeah, 1.1 stub. Less of a stub. It's very cursive, but it's so quiet. That comes very close, if not equivalent, to the Diplomat. So there you have it. Some alternative comparisons of Yowo nibs. So, you know, there may be some hope, after all, to owning, you know, a Yowo nibbed pen. You know me, Yowo, I just fed up of Yowos. It's because probably the first 5 years of my you know, being a collector, all I had was Yowo nibs. And you, after a while, it's nice to have the pen, but your writing really, you have the same writing experience. It starts to get a little bit of a drag. But there you have it. There you have it, folks. Beautiful pen. I'm glad I've added this German pen to my collection. So that viewer cannot say that I've not added German pens to my collection. And who knows, if I buy more German pens this year, and I have my eye on a Lamy, who knows, I may have another award for the best German pen of the year. Why not? So there you have it, the Diplomat Nexus. Hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, click that like button, alert, comment. It's always well appreciated. Enjoy your pens, enjoy your inks, enjoy your paper. Be well. Ciao.